Welcome to another episode of V for Veganism. I am here with James Aspey, who is a famous vegan from Australia.
Yeah,
I might as well just say it.
James Aspey is a world-renowned vegan and animal rights activist from Sydney, Australia. He's also a cancer survivor and a public speaker. In 2014, James took a 365-day vow of silence to raise awareness for the rights of non-human animals. In that time, he traveled Australia, keeping a record of the people he met and the minds he changed. After the year was over, James's story went viral. He now travels the globe raising awareness and inspiring people to go vegan. We caught up with James here in New York City during one of his speaking engagements, sponsored by the Humane League.
Let's just get into it. Today I'm here because 3 reasons. I wanted to try to educate you and teach you some things that maybe you don't know. The reason why I think you might not know is because I didn't know it only a few years ago. Second thing I want to do is try to inspire you and light that fire inside you to want to do more, to want to be better, to want to make this world a better place. And thirdly, I want to encourage you to move on that path and try to lift you up. You know, I'm not here to make anybody feel like bad people. I'm not going to call anybody a murderer for eating meat. I'm just going to think that. I'm not going to say it out loud.
My first question to you is, you've been in the States for a little while. Do you notice a difference between the, I guess, the progressive nature of people in Australia versus the United States, or their openness to veganism? Is there a difference at all that you see?
Not really. You get some people in Australia are very open and they just need a little nudge and they start moving in the direction of veganism. Some people will never ever go vegan and you can have a conversation and it's like beating your head against the wall, you get nowhere. It's the same thing here. Culturally we're quite similar, so we have a lot of the same misconceptions and lies that are fed to us from the day that, when we start learning about anything, that we need dairy for calcium, we need meat for protein, all those things. Our culture believes that, and in Australia we believe that, and you believe the same stuff here. How
we were founded is pretty similar too, in terms of we sort of, raped and pillaged indigenous people to be where we're at. So we have a similar history as well.
It didn't take long at all to realize that not only can we be healthy without consuming any animal products, but we're likely to be far healthier, reduce our chances of the biggest killers, and heart disease, cancers, diabetes, obesity, osteoporosis. We're likely to live a longer life. We're likely to have less nutrient deficiencies from not eating animal products. This was blowing my mind. As a personal trainer of 8 years, I was thinking, how could I have not known about this? And so I start telling everybody, as every vegetarian does. I'm like, man, you gotta go vegetarian. Do you know about going vegetarian? There's so many benefits. Oh, vegetarian. Everyone's like, dude, you were eating steak for breakfast 2 days ago. What the hell's going on with you? I'm like, no, I just learned all this amazing stuff, man. It's so exciting. I said, man, how do you know all this? You are a deep thinker. He said, meditation. I was like, oh yeah, sure mate. Well, you're just sitting around in a corner one day and all this information came to you. He goes, yep, pretty much. I was like, righto, well, maybe I should do some meditation. I book in for meditation, not just 10 minutes a day, that's not how I roll. You'll see from the stories coming. For some reason I thought it would be a good idea to book in for a 10-day silent meditation where you meditate for 10 hours a day. I don't know, man. I got problems, I'm aware of it. So I book in, I get home from my cruise ship, I finish my contract. Everyone's calling me up. My mates are calling me, bro, are you okay? I'm like, what do you mean? They go, we heard you went vegetarian, man.
What does your meditation look like? And because I hate meditation. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people have a hard time with it. What does yours look like, and how would you advise someone to go about meditating?
Firstly, it's not just through meditation, it's also about fostering a positive mindset and focusing on the good and seeing the good in the darkness. And that is something that comes with practice and creating new habits for yourself. In terms of meditation, which has helped me in a huge way, I'd say, a lot of people find it hard to meditate. Just like if you try to run a marathon, and you haven't gone for a run ever, you're going to find it very, very hard. You know, and this is what meditation is. It's exercise for your mind. It's not some hippie, weird thing. It's simply a technique to sharpen your mind, to strengthen your mind. Just like when you go like this, you get many benefits. You get stronger muscles, you get this, you get that, and all these things. When you meditate, you are exercising your mind so that it is more clear, so that you are more sharp, so that you can retain information for longer, so that you can talk about things and come from a more calm and peaceful place. There's countless benefits of meditation. So that's what meditation is. What does it look like for me? As regularly as possible, I try at least for 1 hour a day. I will sit in silence and I will observe my physical sensations on my body while remaining equanimous, which means to accept the moment as it is. And if you know, that's a specific technique, but more simply, before you go into things like that, what you can do is something called anapana, which is when you just observe the breathing. So you just observe your breath. That's the whole exercise. Every time your mind wanders, which is going to happen constantly, you return to your breath as soon as you realize that you've wandered. It might be half an hour before you realize, but when you realize, you come back. Every time you come back, that's your bicep curl for your mind. And you keep repeating that process, and for that hour you do it. And over time you realize you get stronger and stronger. You don't go for half an hour, maybe you only leave for 29 minutes, and then you come back to the present and realize what you're doing, rather than just playing in your mind about the past and the future. And the benefits are endless, but especially for activists, because it avoids burnout, it gives you more energy, more optimism. It's so good for activists. I couldn't recommend it more.
My next question is more, I guess, your opinion, sort of a hot topic or a tension builder between vegans is the subject of consuming products that are vegan, but maybe the parent company is not vegan. And I feel like there's very much a divide between vegans of, well, you want to support it because you want to show the parent company that there's a demand, or no, we don't want to support it because we don't want to give our money to the parent company. What is your thought on that?
Yeah, I think that both arguments make sense, and I don't think either is wrong. They both make sense. To me personally, for example, if there is a restaurant that serves animal products, I will go and eat those vegan. I'll go and eat those vegan options from that place, because I'm creating a demand for vegan food, and it is vegan food, so I am not contributing to any harm or suffering, really. But when it comes to the parent companies, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a similar story. If you are buying these vegan products, you're creating a demand, and I don't think by doing that you are directly harming any animals. I think it's probably more of a good thing than a bad. In saying that, maybe there's something that I'm not too aware of on that particular topic. And I think though that there is a strong argument for both, but similarly, some people would say they only eat at vegan restaurants. That's great, but I think that equally it makes sense to eat at non-vegan restaurants to create a demand for vegan products. So I think there's merit to both arguments. I lean more towards I will purchase vegan products from places that may not necessarily only sell vegan foods, because it's more accessible, it makes it easier, which I think will be more inclusive for more people, and also to up the demand. So they want to make more and more vegan stuff and see that people want to buy this. They only care about money, they don't care about animals or this and that. They want our money, so let's show them what we want with our money.
Okay, that's a great answer. One last thing, I was watching your video, Vegan versus Christian, and the subject, like the title, got me. I was like, what is he gonna talk about Christianity? And then you get into it and you realize there's this Christian man who is just going at you. And I got so agitated while watching, agitated for you. And once I was done watching, I literally started bawling just because.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I stopped and I started crying. Yeah, I couldn't, because I was getting so aggravated.
Frustrated.
Yeah, and frustrated at this man. But you handled it so well, but and then he brought up the subject of oh, you talked about these dairy farmers and here you are yelling at me.
Yeah.
And I just, kind of silly, I want to ask, do you think that people do ask these questions just to kind of real life troll you? To see if they can get a rise out of you?
But I don't think that's what he was doing, actually.
No.
I think he was just generally, he didn't get it, and he thought he was right. He genuinely thought he was right. He was an older man. I don't think he was deliberately trolling me. I think he didn't realize he had flaws in his argument. And definitely some people do that though. Look at what happens on the internet, man. People just plan a little comment knowing that they're going to get a rise out of a bunch of people, and then it's on. You know, people buy it and it's on. And it's sad because, man, we've got so much more important things to spend our time on and replying and getting into discussions with people like this who are just literally there to aggravate. But, you know, you can't, what can you do about it? You just, you know, the best thing you can do is keep in mind that even if some troll does do that, this conversation that you have can still be seen by countless other people who might actually care and get something from it. At the end of the day though, any bit of awareness raised, it helps, and you know, if people are going out of their way to do things like that, well, you know, I feel sorry for those kind of people, man, but you know, some people are just like that.
So I could sit here and talk with you forever, but I know that you have to go. So thank you so much for giving the speech, for talking to people, for inspiring people. You've absolutely inspired me to be better at this. Yeah, just listening to you, I'm like, oh, I need to stop being so angry.
Yeah, it might help.
So,
you safe yourself.
So I appreciate you, I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate you talking with us. Please go check out James Aspey. Give us all your web information, where we can find you.
James Aspey on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. That's it.
And please subscribe below and make sure to check out all our other content, and thank you so much for watching.
Thanks a lot.